What's up? Welcome back to my channel. Now, here's a quick memo for y'all real quick. So some of you are my older subscribers. You've been here with me for a while, so please, I know so I've been getting messages that you guys don't know how to go about being notified when I post a new video. So here's a quick one. Just hit the notification bell, okay? After you hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and it will notify you whenever I drop out a new video. All right. I hate to just randomly run across you guys' timeline. I need y'all to come check for me. Okay. So with that being said, you hit the notification bell. It will notify you when my new video posts, and you guys can come and check me out. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into Miss Joseline. Now, I didn't record. I think it was episode 7. I didn't record episode 7 because not really much happened in that episode, okay? I was more interested in getting to the episode where we got a little bit more insight about this fight with Joseline and Big Lex, okay? It was a lot going on this episode, and I want to go ahead and start getting into this bullshit. But before I continue, I need you guys to hit that like button. Thank you. Okay, so the first thing I want to get into is this conversation that took place between Spin, Precious, and what's the other one? Holiday. So they sitting down and they talking about the night before. All the girls had gathered together. They were playing a little game. The girls that were left at the house, the girls that didn't go with Joseline to Miami. So the rest of them, they gathered. They played a game. 2 questions, two truths and a lie. And Wet Ass took the cake. So Wet was telling them how she had sex with 2 guys, got pregnant, and the only way that she knew which one was her baby which one was the daddy was because she took a sonogram and the baby's hands were crossed in the sonogram. So she said that she knew who the daddy was based off how the baby hands was crossed. She said because she say that the daddy, the guy that she assumed was the dad was crossed his hands like that. So she knew based off the sonogram who the dad was, and didn't have a DNA test with the baby. So the girls were discussing that. But in the midst of discussing that, Holiday decides to reveal the fact that she had hit somebody before. So the person that she had hit, they died, and she was talking about how much of a traumatic experience it was for her. And I'm quite sure it was. Like, it's one thing to hit somebody by accident, but for that person to pass away, I can't imagine the type of guilt or how that would eat on someone's conscience. That's a mistake that nobody wants to make, and especially if you were under the influence when you did this, right? So it's a total preventable situation, but somebody lost their life as a result. So I can imagine she was distraught about it. But what surprised me was the fact that this was seemingly the first time that Precious was hearing about this. Now, while it's not really clear whether or not this happened before or after their relationship, I'm under the impression that these girls were together for some time or whatever. So it surprises me that Precious didn't know this information. Like, this is something that she didn't know about Holiday. And I'm like, well, if you could be down there, licking and sucking on somebody, but you don't know things about them like this, something like this big that happened in their life, it's just to show you how fast people move these days. You know what I'm saying? People be moving so fast, and they don't give themselves a chance to really get to know a person. Because if you ask me, this is information that Precious should have already been privy to. But you can tell, like, clearly it was a surprise to her too. And now it just baffles me as to how she didn't already know this. But yeah, I just felt the need to point that out. All right, so fast forward. We're going to go about 25 minutes into the episode, because basically this whole episode, for the most part, the girls are just practicing this doom cha cha fucking routine. At this point, I'm so sick of that routine. I can't wait till, they move on from this shit. Cause I know them girls is tired of repeating themselves fucking up the same steps, and Jocelyn keep changing steps, and child, it's a whole discoordinated mess. But I'm just glad that we're getting to the end of this doom cha cha era. Okay. So with that being said, we get to 20 minutes into this episode, and things get a little interesting. Okay, so Miss Daisy, she comes back from the hospital. Mind you, when she comes back from the hospital, the only person knows she's back, initially is Lucky. So she's talking to Lucky, and she's telling Lucky, her side of things and how things went down or whatever. I must admit, the bitch kept it funky, okay? She admitted that she was being messy and that she was carrying bones or whatnot. But what got me is the fact that she said that, she wanted to get her lick back. At this point, I think she should just let the sleeping dogs lie. She did say, though, that she would, she wasn't planning on getting revenge or getting her lick back immediately, especially since she still had the stitches in her face or whatnot. So I'm hoping that she's not back for the smoke. Anyway, she did come back. Kudos to her, because, she's proven that she's not a scary bitch, okay? And it was very brave and bold of her to come back, especially after what happened. So, yes, I give her way more credit. She's not like Anthony off Bad Boys Club. That nigga got his ass, got into one altercation, he was ready to go. Okay, so with that being said, so anywho, the girls are gathered in the kitchen. They're, everybody decided to put on some sexy lingerie or whatever. They're gonna have some type of little slumber party or whatever, in celebration of Joseline. Because mind you, they're watching the girls. They're going to be watching the girls perform live. So they're having this whole little get together in the kitchen. Everybody has on lingerie. Everybody looks good. And then here comes Lucky. Lucky comes scrolling in, with Daisy right behind her. Okay. First thing I want to say is Lucky's outfit, to me, she looked the sexiest. Her little outfit left something to the mystery. The other girls, they had on, particularly, what's her name? Precious really irks me, okay? For one, I've seen her naked ass one too many motherfucking times. Homegirl do not leave nothing for the mystery. And I can understand, because if I looked like a frog, I would try to show off whatever accent I had too. Homegirl is a butterhead. Seriously, to me, she's not cute in the face, but she has a nice physique. Her ass is a little too big for her body, but then again, that can be said about most of the BBL situations, okay? But with that being said, I am so sick and tired of seeing this girl ass. So she wore this outfit with her ass cheeks out or whatever in the back. I throw up, okay? It's one thing to see your naked ass one time, but I really don't want to keep seeing her naked ass all over the place, honestly. But with that being said, here comes Daisy scrolling in the kitchen. Now, things did get awkward at first because you could see Egypt's face. When Daisy come walking back in, the girls are greeting her, and she was like, she's the baddest. And I'm not gonna lie, Daisy did look. She was one of the girls that that looked good. You know what I'm saying? Face card, body card. She did. Homegirl does look good, okay? And it doesn't help that she came back looking, a little scrumptious in her lingerie, because Egypt, as the girls was greeting her or what have you, Egypt was across the table from her looking kind of funny, all right? And then you see this bitch, like, Egypt walks around the table to try to get something that was directly next to Daisy. I guess in her mind, she's feeling like she's, superpowered woman or something, because she got one up on Daisy. So she's using this as a moment to kind of jug at Daisy. Because if you ask me, the bitch could have got something from anywhere around the table. She didn't have to walk right next to Daisy to get whatever it is that she was getting. To me, if you ask me, that was her way. To me, that's low-key nitpicking, okay?
Egypt has no problem bringing herself around to where me and Daisy are. So, the nerves are there, and we're all just tripping over each other. We don't really know who's going to stand where or how this going to work. But, Daisy's a grown-ass woman, and if she ain't scared, then I ain't got no reason to be scared. Yes, I'm so excited to see the performance, y'all. Like, I'm not even going to hold y'all.
Yeah, that shit irked me a little bit too, because I feel like now you giving bully vibes. Like, bitch, you already know that you put hands on the girl. The girl ended up going to the hospital because you cut her face. Whatever the case was, you won that battle. Okay, so I don't see what was the point of juking at, you know, to me that was juking at her. Okay, so with that being said, Egypt is starting to turn me off a little bit. Sidebar before I get to what is the best part of the episode, the insight into the Big Legs Joseline fight situation. I just want to say I'm glad that T Love and Wet Wet made up. Okay. If you guys haven't been following the show, T Love and Wet Wet, they got into it because T Love felt like Wet Wet was bullying, other people and involving herself in other people's trauma. So T Love felt the need to step down on Wet Wet. Ultimately, they end up getting into a squabble. Wet Wet seemingly got the better of that squabble, but I am so glad that despite them having their issue, that they were able to put that to the side and find some camaraderie between the two of them, and they were able to make up. Now, it's not clear that, whether or not they're going to be like friends out of the situation. Who knows? Sometimes when you fight somebody, you develop a type of respect for them. I've experienced this growing up in the hood. You get into a fight with a bitch that you don't like, and sometimes y'all end up being the best friends. You know what I'm saying? There just has to be some type of respect boundary established. Okay. So I'm so glad that these two women were able to get past the little petty issue, because ultimately they're there to dance, to pursue whatever career goal or whatever goal that they have for being on the show. Fighting each other and getting into it with the other girls on the show is not the key. Okay, it's bad enough they got to deal with Mama Joseline. So I'm really glad them two made it up, and it shows growth. And most importantly, I really like this for T Love, because she was coming off real crazy. I was starting not to like her ass. Okay, so I'm really glad that she came around. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the finale of the show. The finale of this episode, and let's just go ahead and get into it. Woo, child. So this whole fight situation. So Joseline and the girls, they did their performance or whatever. I had to watch this shit like 3-4 times to kind of like figure out what the fuck was going on. It was just so much. Not to mention Zeus be cutting and editing it and taking shit out, and child. So I had to watch this shit about 3-4 times. Okay, so let me start off by saying this as far as the fight concerned. We all saw the clips of Joseline and Big Legs getting into the fight. Okay, so we already know pretty much how that went down, and it went down how we all saw it go down. Okay, so if there were any other footage to watch, this episode revealed whatever footage was remaining, and we saw what we saw. Big Legs got her ass whooped. Joseline was on her like white on rice. And, she got attacked by a couple of other people too. But let me just say this first, right? I don't agree with jumping. I don't agree with the jumpation of a situation. I feel like it's always good to deal with shit one-on-one. But in this instance, you're talking about both girls, one in particular who's a celebrity, so regardless to whether or not she wanted help or not, because clearly she had it under control, but regardless, there's always going to be people around that's going to step for her. Okay, so she could throw hands, Joseline could throw hands, she could not throw hands, but either way, her groupies and her friends and fucking bodyguards and everything else is going to step for her. So therefore, Lex was going to get jumped either way it go. But what surprises me the most about the situation was that Lex talks so much shit about it's on site and what she'll do to Joseline, and she talked so much buku shit. You feel me? And this was going on for a period of time. So now you got Joseline already probably hyped up. You know what I'm saying? And then she fuck around and see this bitch. You know, all of that is gonna come back to the front of your brain. Like, this bitch keep threatening me. She keeps saying what she gonna do. Now I have an opportunity to handle it. So y'all already know Joseline is a hothead. So of course she was gonna get with it. So what confuses me about the situation is for Lex to have talked all the shit that she talked, she had to have known that Joseline was going to be at this performance. She had to know that Joseline was going to perform, that she was going to be there. So why would you show up, you know what I'm saying, after you talk so much shit about this lady and knowing that she's a hothead, knowing how she gets down, why would you show up by yourself? Now let's just say she didn't show up by herself now, because we don't know for a fact that she was there by herself. Whoever was with her, if there was somebody with Big Lex, they did not help her, okay? So either way it go, Big Lex put herself in that situation. You can't start a fire and then stand there and not expect to get fucking burnt, because that's what's going to happen. That heat going to hit you, honey. It's going to hit you. So I don't feel bad for Big Lex because she got jumped. I just simply don't. Now, had it been anybody else, maybe I would have had some sympathy. Her, no. I never liked her from when she was on the season. She came off as too big-headed and big mouth for me. Let me just say this. I liked her a bit, but then again, she ended up turning me off. So with that being said, I don't feel bad for her. It just is what it is, folks. But yeah, shit went motherfucking crazy, okay? So you got Yummy. We all seen the clips. Yummy, they didn't show Yummy participating in the fight on this episode, but we know that Yummy, of course, got down with the business. So Yummy, Melissa, and some guy was all participating in the fight, and probably other people too. And you know, and that kind of surprised me with Yummy, but then again, it didn't, because Joseline had just made her Caberet captain. So, you know, maybe she felt obligated to help Joseline, you know. But like I said, Joseline didn't need help either way it goes. She already was getting the better of Lex, okay? There was moments of time where the two was just fighting and they weren't being touched, and Joseline was manhandling her. So either way, she was getting the better of Big Lex anyways. Joseline didn't need the help. So with that being said, that kind of surprised me. But what surprised me even more was the fact that Miss Natural didn't get involved. Now, Joseline and Miss Natural do have a bit of a history, but Natural it seemed like this whole season that she's been trying to like be Joseline's right hand. So it surprised me that this bitch didn't even try to, you know what I'm saying, involve herself. She said she don't believe in the jumping people or whatever. Even though she claimed that she don't really have a relationship with Big Lex, she just says that she didn't feel like jumping people. I just feel like if I'm with my team, I don't give a fuck. If my team is at war, I'm at war with them. You know what I'm saying? I don't care who the other person is. We'll talk about that shit later. We'll feel bad about it later. But me personally, I would have been with my team. You know what I'm saying? Especially since she was trying to be Joseline's right hand. I figured this was a good time to kind of prove herself. Not that she had to. And, you know, it is what it is. But it just surprised me that she wasn't one of the first people to jump. And I know that Joseline, you know, did a mental checklist of this, of who had her back and who did. You know what I'm saying? Regardless to whether or not she needed the help, I do know that if it was me, I would have had a mental checklist of who had my back. Now, here's another thing too. Joseline, that bitch was coked the fuck out. She was on something. Her and Ballistic. I mean, there were points in, you could see the camera showed both of them like their eyes just wide as fuck. Ballistic looked ballistic because like, I mean, his eyes was like popping out of his fucking skull. They was so fucking big. And I'm like, what the fuck did they? I don't know, but both of them was on one, right? So I guess after the fight between Joseline and everybody, that little incident happened. They all in the dressing room. So, you know, Melissa must have taken a heel to the face or whatever. She's bleeding everywhere. You know, Joseline's like, you know, still amped up. She's like, I'm sorry, or whoop de woo. You know what I'm saying? But I had to get that bitch. Child, we all understand. But anyway, she's so animated and all this bullshit. Meanwhile, Big Lex had done went down the street somewhere, called the police, and now the police has arrived, right? So the police get outside the room, the dressing room, and they're talking to Ballistic. Ballistic's telling Melissa them to keep Joseline in there because Joseline's so riled up. She was turned up, and there was no going back for her. She was already imped, right? So Ballistic, basically like, let me go out here and handle this, deal with this or whatever, what, whoop de whoop. I don't know if Joseline was. Obviously, Joseline didn't give a fuck about herself. Maybe she ran out there because she was concerned about what was going on with Ballistic. And I will say this one thing about Joseline. I don't know if it's the fact that she got some good ass pussy or what, but the niggas that she get with, they damn sure be bumping with her. Like, I don't give a fuck what y'all say. Stevie J was damn sure bumping. He was bumping with Joseline too, cause he was bumping with Joseline. And obviously, Ballistic is about that. Like, Ballistic ain't, you know what I'm saying? He was like, keep my bitch inside this room. Do not let my bitch out. You know what I'm saying? And like, hate it or love it, I gotta respect Ballistic for that, because regardless, right or wrong, indifferent, he got his woman back. And that's how it's supposed to be, cause you know what I'm saying? You're supposed to have your woman back 100%. Okay, so he out there trying to handle the police. This crazy bitch, Melissa, you know what I'm saying? Melissa like, oh, you know what I'm saying? If I'm not gonna move, you're gonna have to beat me up. But I guess at some point she realized she was gonna get her ass whooped, so she moved. And Joseline come barging out the door. OMG. Real quick, before we get to the barging out the door situation, and the epic Joseline getting carried away by 4 police officers, before we get to that, let's just talk about this real quick. Okay, so what's her face? What's that girl name? Damn, I keep forgetting this girl name. Is it Spin? It ain't fucking Spin. What the fuck this girl name is? The girl with the fucking pigtails. I keep forgetting her name. Anywho, she at some point, maybe I don't know if she was participating in the fight or whatever, but she ended up with what I would assume is Big Lex wig. So it's so fucking funny because this motherfucker actually wore the wig on the confessional. So that's how she ended up with that curly ass wig, because mind you, this girl had braids. Then she ended up with that fucking lace front. She actually wore this girl wig. I'm like, child, if shaking my head, slap my face, shaking my head was an emoji, it would definitely be me. Okay, well, it was a person. Whatever. Yeah, that shit was funny. And then I guess somebody had recorded some parts of the fight, so you get Joseline psychotic ass. She like, hold on, wait till you see how I got this bitch.
I've never broken a bone, twisted an ankle. I couldn't walk. I literally hit like 3 steps. I hit the ground. My leg is broken. You're not bleeding? I'm gonna wear it. No. I'm dirty.
Homegirl broke her leg. If you ask me, I think the motherfucker sprained an ankle, but sprained the knee. She must have fell on her knee or something, because she had something around her knee. I'm pretty sure her leg wasn't fucking broken, but it probably came from her. She probably fucked up her knees down there trying to grab Big Lex wig. I know that looked like a good ass lace front, bitch. But anywho, child.
That hoe. Look, I got that hoe when she tried to hit you. Come here right now. Look, I got that bitch when she tried to hit you. Can I go home? Look, I got that bitch. Oh my God, goddamn. Like, look, I got that bitch. Fucking head in the look, I got that bitch when she tried to hit you. Look, I got that hoe when she tried to hit you. Look, I got that bitch when she tried to hit you. Because I thought about it. That shit is hot, and I know that bottle shit is just scared. Yeah, they don't get that hoe on us.
Child, y'all heard that shit. She's like, look, I got that bitch. Shush, shush. Look, watch, I got that bitch. So somebody must have got some damn camera footage, cell phone footage of the fight. So Johnson's looking at the fight, getting further amped up. I feel like that shit right there was like a boost for her. I don't know why the fuck they showed her that shit, because it made them seem like the calm that she was trying to have, she sped the fuck back up. Okay, because around this point, that's when the police is coming to the door, and Ballistic is going outside, outside of the dressing room to try to deal with the situation. Anywho, Joseline bum rushes out there. OMG.
It beat the fuck up. not that white man touch me. He didn't touch me. That white man better not touch me. Let's go inside. White man better not touch me. Please, hey, do not touch me.
To be honest, I feel like Joseline could have potentially walked away from that situation without going to jail. Because for one, if she would have stayed her dumb ass in that motherfucking room, she could have possibly been all right. If she would have calmed down and showed some type of decorum, she could have possibly made it out of that situation unscathed, okay? But of course she didn't. She comes outside, she's all up in these people's face. They talking to Ballistic. She comes jumping in front of Ballistic, pointing fingers at the fucking police, cussing at them, calling them all kind of racial slurs. Then the motherfucker Ballistic picks her up. He literally picks her ass up, grab her, and she's fighting and kicking him while he's trying to drag her ass back into the dressing room. Which is why ultimately she ended up going to fucking jail. And we all seen that, her getting carried out by 4 motherfuckers because she was just that much of a wild and out space. Okay? Kids. Okay? I don't know about y'all, but when I was in school, I know they don't stop it. So this younger generation fucks up. That's why everybody on all kind of drugs. But with that being said, when we was in school, they had the DARE program, okay? I don't know if y'all remember that, but it was D, I won't do drugs. A, won't have an attitude. R, I will respect myself. E, I will educate me. D, I won't do drugs. A, won't have an attitude. R, I will respect myself. E, I will educate me. Man, we used to love going to the damn DARE classes, child, because we used to be able to get out of class, skip some school work for about 30, 40 minutes while we go to the little DARE program and watch them do some crazy shit. Oh, child, but listen, y'all kids, moral of the story, stay off the fucking drugs, cause you lose control of all your equilibrium. You end up flipping the fuck out when you could safely make it out of a situation. Not saying that she probably would have made it out, because we all heard that police call that Big Lex ass did. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that she was sending the dogs on Joseline's hands. But either way, Joseline made that situation very much worse for herself, okay? But with that being said, child, I am so much interested in seeing what they got going on for next episode. Now, folks, it looks like next episode is going to be interesting, okay? So, it looks like, from the looks of it, that little back at home, the little slumber party is going to go a little crazy, okay? So we got Daisy and Egypt. They're going to have a little back and forth. Hopefully that resolves in just verbal. Maybe they work it out some kind of way, find a way to get along with each other, because I really don't want to see little Daisy get her ass beat up again. Like, I went from disliking her to feeling real bad for her, okay? So I really don't want to see her have another fight unless she wins it. Here go Precious getting fucking naked again, and it looks like it's gonna be some drama between her and Holiday, okay? This shit about to get a whole lot of messy, and I told y'all about 3-4 episodes ago that it's gonna get messy between Egypt and Precious, okay? Because every single time, not Egypt and Precious, but Holiday and Precious, because every single time that something goes down, when it comes to these lesbian relationships, y'all gotta be fucking careful, because I'm telling y'all, lesbian relationships is worse than heterosexual relationships. They worse than gay boy relationships. They are messy, okay? Especially when one or both of the girls that's in this lesbian relationships like dick, okay? That's when shit gets really messy. But, child, we'll see. And then it looks like fucking Egypt somehow is going to turn into Miss Lovergirl. She goes from getting ready to get into with Daisy to ending up cuddled up and snuggled up with Holiday. And Lord knows that that's probably going to cause even more drama. You know what I'm saying? So it looks like Egypt is just going to have herself mixed up in some shit. Child, I just can't wait to see what they're going to have going on. And besides, after this fallout with Joseline going to jail and everything, I want to see what the Caberet does from here. Okay? So we watch Doom Cha Cha all fucking episode, all season long so far. Hopefully, we get to see some new shit and we get to actually see a tour or see how this shit's going to play out. But with that being said, folks, that is it for this episode. I'm out. Deuces. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to like this video if you like this video. If you don't, dislike this video. Hell, comment, talk your shit. Let's start a conversation, people. With that being said, I love you guys. Once again, thank you. I'm out. Bye.